they were not only hunting just the regular people of the tribes, they were hunting and capturing the kings and the queens of these tribes, right? So when our people got here, we revolted a lot. So they went to this German psychologist. I cannot think of his name right now.
All right, y'all listening to a TikTok where you have some white women on the panel and what may be some black women on the panel. And unfortunately, I didn't catch the prior conversation before hitting the record button. But one of the white women on the panel there, you might be able to see it on the screen, goes by the name of Betty. All right, you see that Betty right there. I think it was her. And she said she was an ally. There was a black man up on the top left where it now says request and has a plus sign there. Right. And he was simply asking some questions, and in normal, usual fashion, all these women up here getting bent out of shape. And this is the stuff that I was talking about, how these panels that's going on, there's a lot of delusion going on. Right. And there's what else is going on is if you don't agree or fall in line with the majority of the people that's on the panel, and you have differing opinions or you start questioning, what I've noticed is that when you start throwing questions out, nobody can handle that for some reason. And I think the white woman here, this Betty lady, I don't know if that's her real name.
Very often.
Let me turn that down. And the black guy asked her, she said that she was an ally to black people. And then he asked her, well, how are you an ally? I also posted a question up on the bottom asking, then she had mentioned something about she was educating the people because she's allied to black folks. So I guess she's, supporting and allied to black people, right? And so I also posted a question in the comments, who are you educating? And, who are the people that you're educating and what are you telling them? And no response. And then she had made some other comment. And I think I asked the question again. And I don't know, whoever the moderators are up there, that's another thing in itself, the moderators. It's like these people never had any real authority, even in their own home. And so for some reason, being a moderator gives people the authority and makes them feel like they about that life. And they go on, and if they don't like something you say, they can put you on mute. They can drop you from being on part of the panel if they just can't handle questionings, and they don't like to talk back. They don't want you to talk back to them. Not even, and this guy was talking really calm and stuff like that. He wasn't being disrespectful, but he has some questions. And it seems like this seems to be the same pattern when it keeps coming to men and women relationships, men and women on the panel, men and women if you have a certain disagreement. And another thing they mentioned, let me see what they're saying.
This gold.
Okay, they don't sound like the same much. I'll put it back there in a minute. But another thing that's been going on is that this narrative of if you didn't vote, that's a vote. And it's fashioned in the sense of if you are a Kamala supporter / Biden supporter, but I guess in this sense it would have been Kamala because she was running for president. If you was a Kamala supporter, right, but you didn't vote for Kamala or Trump, you didn't vote for anybody, then the first thing people like to throw out is, well, that was a vote, and it was a vote against Kamala. They'll say it was a vote for Trump, and all because Trump just happened to win. Now, my thought is, or my question is, so what would have happened if Kamala would have won And but there were people who said I didn't vote for either one. Wouldn't the Trump people also say the same thing? The Trump people will point fingers at the ones who didn't vote at all because they'll say, well, you not voting is a vote for Kamala. So you see the ignorance in this that people have? You see how ignorant people are? If Kamala didn't win and I said I didn't vote for either one, the first thing is, oh, that's a vote for Trump. But if I told you I didn't vote for either one and Kamala won, the Trump people would tell me that's a vote for Kamala. So to me, it looks like these folks who voted for whoever they voted for, they're the real ignorant ones because they are the ones that's just going for the okie doke. I say the ones who didn't vote for either one were the ones who sat down and paid attention to both people. And that's not everybody, of course, but I'm thinking, even myself, I'm sitting there watching these rallies for both people. I've studied them off and on, watched them in interviews. And in the earlier stages, Trump was sounding like a little bit more, okay, he seemed like he gonna be a little bit about it for the right reasons. But as time went on and I was studying him, I was like, oh, I see him getting a little slick. I see the double speak he's talking every now and then. I see the little, yeah, he a little slick there. And I caught on to it. And maybe I'm thinking other people did the same thing. So I started leaning towards neither one of them. Both of them are full of BS. And the more I kept studying them, watching them, I would go back and watch prior. I look at certain interviews. I'll look at the rallies, and I just kept, and I look at other people who was involved with these folks in some form or fashion, just studying the answers and then listening to them again in their rallies. They're saying the same certain things. I'm noticing there's certain things going on in real time in realistic life that neither one of them is willing to say whatever. Trump might said a little bit more that made black people feel as if, okay, he gonna rock with us. He gonna rock with us. But when you like I said, I have videos on him talking. I have personal videos that I do a news show on. So I know what I'm talking about when I say he says things, and I always say he's a clever dude. People just keep saying he's stupid, stupid, stupid. You ain't stupid if you get in a certain place that y'all can't get to. That's not a stupid person. All right. I always said clever recognize clever. So I always recognize the clever things, even if the clever things are messed up or foul or whatever. I go, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I see you, homie. Right. So I want to say F you to all these folks on either side, whoever tells anybody, because they didn't vote for neither one of their favorites, then that's a vote for the other. Because I just broke it down. You see the ignorance of that? Because it's always going to be that no matter what. That's the intellectual. That's all they got intellectually is to say, if I say I didn't vote for neither one and Trump wins, the Democratic voters are going to say, well, that's a vote for Trump. And if Kamala would have won, and I still said the same thing, I didn't vote for either one. The Trump supporters are going to say that was a vote. You not voting is a vote for Kamala. You don't have a say. And that's another thing. This thing of you don't have a say because you didn't vote. So all the people who don't vote are the only ones who never have a say. But actually, if you want to say it in a covert way or in a stealthy way, that was a say. It's just to y'all, that's not a say. We said that we don't see either one of them as viable. We see both of them as BSers. So I'm saying it through my actions of not voting because I don't think either one of them are going to be good. Right. And then to even be a person to sit down and look at some things, look at videos, read some text here and there, pick up some audio sometimes if you hear them talking. You study on those things. That's a person that's, I say, is an intelligent person. You're trying to find out information. And then when you find out information and certain things that these people are saying just don't hit right with you, you just don't go and just go on and vote, even though inside your gut and all the intel you getting is like, nah, something this ain't right about them. All the information I'm hearing from, I'm listening to what they're saying. They're not supporting certain things that went on, and neither one of them spoke up, or this presidential candidate did not speak up against this. That's foul. You taking all that information in, right? And you are being what people say they throw out. Everybody wants to throw out, be a critical thinker, be a critical thinker. But critical thinking to these folks means, well, if you didn't vote for neither one, that was a vote for the other. That's what critical thinking is to these folks, right? And you see the ignorance of that. That's crazy, right? Let me see something here. What does this thing do? Okay, no, leave that alone. So, like I'm beginning to notice, and I've been kind of saying some things here and there, is that there's a lot of delusional people, a lot of ignorant people. People say ignorant stuff, and I guess probably even bigger than saying people are ignorant, people are emotional based. They just, I feel this, and they start spewing out and speaking. And you get the delusional responses, like I mentioned. If a person didn't vote for, I'm gonna keep repeating this because I want people to see how dumb and stupid that sounds. I didn't vote for this person or this person that running for president. And because that person lost, my non-voting is a vote for them. No, I didn't put a vote in for either one. I didn't see either one as viable or reliable to be president. And then when you can lay out different instances as to why, okay, Kamala said this on this particular time. Kamala was with Biden when Biden said this. Kamala didn't speak up against it. Now we find that Kamala was using a whole bunch of money to pay all these celebrities. She's in debt. That's another reason, right? Seems like everybody's left that alone. Everybody's been quiet about that lately. Nobody's been saying about her managing the money right during this campaign. And then if she can't do that, what is she going to do as president? Because she's doing that stuff in real time. Now, if it would have came out and she became president and then would have came out saying, she spent this money on that and this and this money on this person and that Oprah, she gave Oprah this, she gave Beyonce that, but hey, she's still having problems managing money. She's still in debt, but she became president. Then what would people say? They'll just put that under the rug, right? You see the dumbness and the ignorance of certain people. And all these panels is just for, I need to pick all the people who are on the side that I'm on so we can just jump on the other folks and block them and drop them down and make them look stupid, right? That's the type of people we dealing with. So let me go and turn this up and see what they talking about.
Now, and some people around the world are making fun of America, but and it was all about how great America is, and it was put out by a Canadian. Have y'all ever heard that song?
I haven't.
It's really, really, really amazing. That song was put out in the 70s, and then there was another one. It's called "What the World Needs."
And
Now.
while she's talking about that, I'll turn it down some. Maybe I'll turn it down all the way. The question they have posted up there, let me pull it up a little bit more. Maybe I can see some of it. Some of it is blocked by the something about mute. But their initial question, I guess that's what they was trying to bring up people to talk about, was, can Black people be racist? All right. And I guaranteed if I would have went up there or anybody else and started asking questions, they already would have got emotional. They already would have started taking offense, got upset. It's a thing where people are really defensive about questions. And it might be because you are afraid that the question that might get asked, you won't have an answer to, and you might look stupid with the answer. That's what it seems like. You might look dumb based off the answer that you might give. And my thing, if I would have went up there, the first thing would have been, y'all explain to me first what a racist is and what a racist does. And I would just listen if they would have gave an answer. I'm sure it'd have been these zigzag type of answers and bouncing all over the place. And another person would have been trying to say something. And then when they all start scrambling and mumbling amongst themselves, then they would probably try to turn it back on me. Well, you shouldn't be asking me this. I'm just guessing. I can't say they're gonna say that exactly for sure. But I get on these. Sometimes I get on panels, sometimes I just go into the live and I just sit and watch and listen. And it's always been the same thing over and over and over and over. The same stuff. These panels are some of them. I can't say nothing is ever all. So when I say certain things, don't take it. And I'm always probably going to correct myself or clarify. It's not all, but it seems to be a damn hell of a lot of these panels. This is all they do. A lot of these panels just have a group of people on the panels, and they'll see how you got on. If you look on the screen now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 slots open for anybody to jump in and say they say. But if you don't say something that they don't agree with that, then they all gonna pounce on you and start coming up. And then a lot of other things is the name calling, because they have no intellect or not intelligent enough or the intellectual maturity to listen to somebody and really think on it and think, well, could this person really be, this person has a point or no? It's all I'm in my feelings, I'm in my emotions. What they saying is tapping me in the gut. So I gotta say something to tap them back in their gut and make them look and feel stupid and low. No intellectual maturity at all. And although I listen to stuff sometimes, and because I want to bring this to the attention of people so they can see these things, because it might be some of y'all doing that, and maybe you don't believe it or whatever. Maybe I could show you, so maybe you'll be a believer. Or some people just never gonna believe it. And I guess that's where having understanding comes in, to be able to deal with stuff like that, because once you understand that there are going to be some people who are just never you can bring all the evidence off the planet. I can tell you Biden said something, and then you could tell me he didn't say that. And then I'll pull up the actual video where he said everything and probably more than I had added to it and said that, which actually happened recently. And people will still get upset and still try to flip that and change it to something and change it back to, you just played a clip. You didn't play the whole context. But then when you play it back and add a little bit more of the context, the meaning is still the same. They still want to try to flip it on you like you the bad one. And on another note, this is why some people or a lot of people shouldn't go to a lot of these panels. If you are a type of person who looks at things from a realistic, practical standpoint, you being realistic, because reality is reality. What's really happening in front of you is what's really happening. You can't be saying this person, now we see a person punch somebody in the face, but then we have one delusional person in the group saying, no, that person just waved their hand. It was yelling and screaming. We have delusional people, man. But you got to understand that there's going to be people that's going to have these panels, and you have to start deciphering on whether or not you should even be there to begin with, because they'll say some things that'll spark your nerve and make you want to come up there and say something that opposite of what they're saying, because you know they're lying, or you know they're projecting something just to project their own feelings that's not true in a whole. But then when you get up there, you're going to get ganged on. And it's not about you scared about being ganged on. You can handle all of them, but what's gonna, what's gonna be the result? What's gonna be the constructive result? And it's never gonna go nowhere, right? So let's listen in a little bit more.
Working with the party and working within the party and for the party. And he also has a demonstrative and well-documented record in history of being on the right side of the civil rights movement. So I will always have a lot of respect for Bernie. And is he a registered Democrat? No, but he tends to vote along Democrat lines. So what if he's not a registered Democrat? Right. I don't care about that.
And AOC backs them all too.
And I'm gonna say this about the Democratic Party, because I've stated this to y'all before. I've been working as a precinct chair now, and I'm seeing more and more and more how things work, right? So, politics is a game of chess. Everything you do, even as an individual player.
And I'm pulling up their pictures when you hear them talk, so you can see. And because some of them may not be putting up their real pictures, some of them might put up a actual face on there. But you got to know what these people look like, what they're talking about.
Right? The precinct chair looked at her and told her, well, we've already chosen as a party. We've already chosen who we want to be our state representatives. I can't endorse anyone, but the Democratic Party has chosen who we want as the representatives. Therefore, you probably wouldn't win because we wouldn't put any money behind you. It's what was told to her.
Oh, wow.
I would suggest that you go and you make friends with them, however, and become one of their chiefs of staff. This is what was told to her. Now, that said a lot.
And I want y'all to see on the screen, I'm going to tap the bottom of that where you actually can type in a comment, and you'll see that they muted me because of what I put out there. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I might be able to find it. Yeah, it should be in here. A whole bunch of messages, I guess, happened since then. I know the last one I put was because the white lady was calling, and that's another thing. There's supposedly black women on this panel, and this white woman was saying that the black man, because I guess they booted him off the stage there, off the panel, because they ain't like what he was saying. I guess they ain't like him questioning. And then the white woman was saying, like, he feels I'm a threat. That's why he was saying X, Y, and Z, because maybe they muted, maybe my messages won't show. Maybe that's what it means. They mute your messages from even being on the in the chat, because I don't see them now. So maybe that's also what that means. Yeah, very interesting. You don't want people to see. That's also showing you something in itself. So in all actuality, they sure did. Wow. I didn't know that's what muting your messages does. They can actually mute, and I guess it removes all the stuff you said. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So like I said, the last thing I mentioned was that the white lady was projecting, because she was trying to say that she was a threat to this black man that was on the panel with them talking, and that's why he was acting the way he was acting, because she's a threat. And she says she's not an ally. She's what was the word she said? Another word that doesn't really mean ally, but she tried to use. It was a word that could mean like she was still supporting black people. But see, even that in itself, and none of these black women up here was checking her on it. That was the crazy thing. When she even said that she was a threat, and I put on there, you're projecting your answer, and nobody's threatened by you. I know it said something very close to that, and then that's when I got muted. you're just projecting your own feelings on this man, and nobody's threatened by you. And then my message got muted. And so I guess the mute removes all the things you said. So not only, and these are the people who vote. These are the people who vote. This is the mentality of some people who vote. This is the intellectual maturity of some people who vote. And the funny thing is, they'll pass this on to their children. They'll pass vote, 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 vote. Even if they know that this voting thing is really not what it's cracked up to be. They're promoting vote for somebody, not really thinking about, I've seen Kamala say things and do things, and when she went on certain runs to certain colleges, people was recording her saying things and using the little trick words about my body, my choice, and it was all it was to promote abortion, and it was seeming to be a lot more promoted towards Black people, Black women. See, these are all the things when people say, "Oh, you just didn't want a woman in office." That's another ignorant comment. So you saying that no Black man, because it was geared towards Black men. They ain't say it to no Indian men, white men, Chinese men, Puerto Rican men. It's always geared towards Black men. You just didn't want to vote for a Black woman. When another Caribbean a Caribbean woman who looks Black, has Black looking skin, but from the Caribbean, had also proven that Kamala was not Black. Nobody confronted this Caribbean woman. Y'all all know who it is, Candace Owens. She's not a Black American favorite of folks, but when us Black Americans see something that folks doing, we shout it out or we call it out. Candace Owens called it out. Kamala's book she had a fake Black looking grandmother in the picture. It wasn't even her grandmother, if I'm not mistaken. Nobody speaks on that. So if I have that information, that's going to be in my memory banks. Okay, she's faked she tried to make it seem like she's Black by putting this lady in a book and saying it's her grandmother. And when you see the lady that's in the book, looks like a Black woman, although she was Caribbean, wasn't a Black American, as we say. And then you go on is it The Root, I think? So I'm just saying, if people would have asked me why didn't I vote for Kamala, and then somebody would start running their mouth, you just don't like a Black woman to be in office, I would have said, okay, look, Biden was in a so-called leaked Zoom meeting, and you can find this from the news source called The Interceptor. They played the whole entire Zoom meeting. And somewhere in the middle towards the end, Biden specifically said, America is doomed. And he gave two reasons why America would be doomed. He said it's doomed not only because of the Blacks, which he's saying it's going to be, America's going to be doomed because of Blacks, but he didn't say it like that. He said America is doomed not only because of the Blacks, but when you just listen, you fill in the blanks. So he really was saying that America's going to be doomed because of the Blacks. But he didn't say it in that direct way. He said America is doomed not only because of the Blacks, but because the population of the Europeans are going to go down. So I guess we're going to end up being more of the population than the European whites. I think he mentioned something like that, European whites. And then later on in his conversation, he said that, and there was a bunch of Black people on the panel in the Zoom meeting. Kamala was there, Al Sharpton, that Richard dude that Biden called him boy another time, and that was by supposedly Biden's semi right-hand man a little bit, called him a boy. We all know the racial connotations of a white man calling a black man boy, right? We know that, right? So he said, not only is America doomed because of the blacks, but because the population of the European whites is going to go down by 2030. We coming up on 2030 or 2030 something. That's about 5 to 7 years from now. The European population, white people, what he was saying, I think he used the word white in there and European at the same time. The population is going to be down in the US for them. So we are doomed. This country is, he said, this country is doomed. So it's going to be doomed because it's not going to be enough white people here, as if having a lot of white people here is going to make the country better. It's like, well, that's what he was saying in a coded way. And then because of black people, what, we just going to tear up the country? And so Kamala was there on that. She didn't stop the man. She didn't say, wait a minute, Joe, that's not right. Because she's supposed to be black, right? But he's saying this against black people. But this so-called black woman, Kamala, didn't stop him in his tracks. Okay. So that's another thing that would go on my memory banks after saying, all right, that's another reason why I'm looking at you sideways, Kamala. Then you go on the route and you say in a video, clear as day, I'm not going to do anything just for black people. No. She had an attitude with the way she said it. I think she rolled her head a little bit and everything else. So I guess that means you're a black woman because, you know, that's kind of like the stereotype of the black woman, roll her eyes and shake her head. I ain't getting nothing for no, and had that little attitude. I ain't doing nothing for no black people. No. Right? So that's another thing in the memory banks. Then when people was telling her, or the rumblings was there because at the very end, she threw that out as a bone to say, well, I'm gonna do something for black men too, but she wasn't having no, everybody know that, because you would have said that from the day one, from the jump street. You're gonna look out for black men by doing X, Y, and Z. You just threw that out at the last minute because you started hearing the rumblings that a lot of black men was not feeling you, they not gonna vote for you. But then the first thing to come out your mouth, or come out the people who will support you's mouth, you just don't like black women being in power. Well, if a black woman tell you they're not going to do nothing specifically for black people, when this country keeps doing stuff for other ethnicities in your face, okay, that's one thing. Then when you buy next to the president and you run around fronting like you black, and everybody keeps trying to front for you saying you black, but then Joe Biden says something negative towards blacks, you didn't stop him. You didn't come back on later on and do a news interview, said, well, he said this in the Zoom meeting and I don't agree. None of that, right? So that's another thing. Then you spend all this money and we find out that was all to try to grab black people votes by getting all these black folks entertaining Megan Thee Stallion, Oprah Winfrey, Swollen Martin. You do that. Oh, we find out that, yeah, that was another thing. Roland Martin, I think Roland Martin got some money. They was trying to keep that a secret. So you got all these little things that's adding up. Like, okay, I remember this. So the reason for not voting for it couldn't be all the stuff that I've seen, all this intelligence that I gathered, all this intel that I gathered. And that's the reason. It has nothing to do with you being a black woman or not. But the first thing that even other black women, so silly, will throw back at other black men is, you didn't want to see her in power. Then because you went to a HBCU, in a lot of black women's eyes, and fortunately, I guess, or nicely now, there are a lot of black women waking up now, black American women, because for a long time, a lot of y'all black American women was on that boat too. But you started seeing where black men were seeing, and you started seeing that black men was telling the truth, and some of y'all started waking up to it, right? and started seeing like, yeah, our brothers, these brothers out here saying this, and I think they telling the truth. Look at X, Y, and Z. But still was a whole, because there was still more black women that voted for Kamala than it was black men. There was a lot of black men that voted. But what messed her up is a nice certain amount of numbers of black men bowed out. That's what that was really the deciding factor. All this other nonsense that people was telling you about, it was because of black people. Just put it that way. Black men probably in particular. But they always try to front and act like it was some other reason why Trump won. But it really was because of black people. Because every time it's time for people to run for president, what do they always do? Try to get the black vote. But then when you see somebody else won, then all of a sudden, well, it wasn't because of them. It was this, and this. They don't want to give black men in particular credit for nothing, good or bad. But I say probably more good. They don't want to give credit to black men for nothing good. If they can stick their thumb in their eyes to black men's eyes on anything bad or think something they don't like, they'll do that with the quickness. And this is reality. This is realistic. It's not no guesswork. It's not no making nothing up. Nobody's trying to hate and project and say this and say that and making stuff up, because for a while now, it's been done in people's faces. I mean, that's just real. They've been making it a little bit obvious now. So, yeah. What's going on here? Today we are in the I think this is what, 23rd? If I could see that today's date. I'm trying to find something here. Yeah, excuse me for a sec. Let me see. This might be it. Let me see if I can find something here. I'm in this self-defense training, so I was checking out, making sure that I didn't miss a live session. Real world self-defense, reality based, as they say. So, but I'm just checking something. But anyway, so it couldn't be for that reason that I'm sure there's other black men seeing the same. I know there's other black men that seen the same thing, because I've been going to some of these other social media platforms and you're hearing it. We're looking at all the stuff this woman is saying, all the stuff she's going to be against, all the stuff she didn't say. Then you look at interviews and certain things, you sit there and say, why didn't she say this? Why she let this person say that? And then she start getting nervous on camera. At times you can see. And you looking like, is that somebody gonna be a president? Then when she goes on these rallies, depending on what city she's in, if it's the more blacker city, then it's I'm gonna put the black Sambos out there, the sing and dance, sucking and jiving, right? I'm gonna send the shucking and jiving crew out there for the black people, because that's all they're about. Give them some booty shakers out there, and for the men, and get the woman out there to speak. Black women stand up, and these black people will vote for you. But she got tricked, because a lot of people said, nah, you're not gonna be disrespectful like that and act like that's supposed to make us vote, and that's all our level of intelligence is, a booty shaker and a booty shaker and a few booty shakers and black women pointing their fingers at black men in a negative way. That's supposed to make black men and black women vote. That'll make them vote. Oh, they like that. Then when she said she washes her greens in a tub, like a literal bathtub where you wash your butt at, you gonna clean your greens in the booty tub, right? And because she said I cook greens, a lot of little ignorant black folks, little black women's, and probably a few little black men's went for the okie doke of because she cooks. She like to cook her greens, and then there was a video somebody asked, or she's telling what she put in it, and they was looking at her like, "Oh, girl, yeah, you put your bacon in it, or you this or that, girl. I put such and such in mine." Ain't nobody said to her, "Wait a minute, you wash your greens in what? We wash our butts in that tub. We don't put the greens in the same tub we wash the booty in." Not realizing, see, she don't even know she's supposed to be so black, right? There were so many instances talking about Kamala where you could tell, nah, if you want to call yourself black, you ain't Black American, but you're trying to use Black American lingo and thinking Black Americans are stupid, and some were, unfortunately. Let's call it what it is. We call out our people. The Caribbeans and Africans don't call out when their people is dumb and stupid. We call out ours. So we had a few bozos who went for the okie doke line of greens and washing in the tub. But back in the day, the tub meant those big old things you put it in, or the sink. We all know that is in the sink. You wash it in the sink. But back in the day, there was a big old bowl type thing, and they called that a tub, or a big old pot. Sometimes they called that a tub. But she's supposed to be so black that she didn't know that. And her handlers didn't know that, or didn't understand that, or peep that. Just like the Tupac thing when she made the Tupac comment some years back, saying she listened to Tupac, and Tupac didn't have a song out the time she was in college. You see what I'm saying? These are all little bits and pieces of things that make you put it together. Critical thinking, analytical thinking. Okay, she said this at this time. She was acting like this. She think that we stupid when she mentions greens and we washing stuff in the tub. The word tub is what's going to grab some of them, but not realizing, not her and her handlers realizing, when Black Americans say tub, we know what we talking about when we mention tub. We don't mean the bathtub where you wash your butt at. We're not putting greens where your booty get washed at. No. All right. I would say something else because I've seen some videos, but I'll leave that out. Maybe another time in regards to washing things in a booty tub and what ethnicities wash their food in certain circumstances. I'll leave that out for right now. And so all of those could be the reasons why people was like, Black men was like, and some Black women was like, nah, we ain't rocking with her. But the goofy bozos who just vote, they don't think critically, let alone think, period. The first thing that come out their mouths is, y'all just didn't like y'all didn't want a Black woman in power. P-brain. That's what I'm gonna say. These are the P-brainers, right? But let's listen in some more. I might switch to another live here and see what's going on. Because I just really want to expose the goofiness and the ignorance and what these people be about. Because when people start saying it's not that, I'm going to have the video evidence of it. I've been on this kind of thing lately because I've been hearing people just say stuff and they really don't say, go to this website, go to this. After they say something, they just say, it's there, it's true. Go look it up. And you already know it's BS. But I've been on a couple of panels more recently. One was talking about the Biden and Trump, and people were saying Biden racist, and that's the video I had pulled up and played on one of the panels, and some Black woman got all upset and was trying to say I played a clip and this ain't true. And then I played one of what's her name? I think it's Angela Stanton, when she was talking about how she got arrested and she was pregnant, and when she was having her baby, one of the sheriffs had to stay in the room with her, and she was saying how Trump signed something, I don't know if it's the Reform Act or something like that. And I played both of those. I guess I could have played the video, but they can only hear the audio part of it. But I guess I could have showed my screen too, but I didn't. But it was the videos, the actual videos. And so this black woman, after I played them, then she started going off, and he was playing a damn clip, and that's not true. And I'm like, did this man not say what he said, Biden? It's clear as day. And that was the video I was talking about. America is doomed not only because of the blacks, because by 2030 it's going to be less certain amount of European whites, is what he said. So what you're saying in a coded way is black people are going to be the reason that this country is going to be doomed. And because there won't be enough white people here in the US, that's another reason why the country is going to be doomed. That's what he was saying. That's clear as day. But she got upset and tried to say that's not what he was saying. I didn't play the whole context. Then when I played the Angela Stanton video, and she was talking about how people were saying Trump is racist, Trump is racist. She said, Angela said in this video, she said, I used to think that too. Everybody was saying the same thing. I went on with it too and believed it. So I sat down and talked to him, and I told him the situation I had and blah, 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 about being having to have your baby and you got a sheriff standing in front of you. I think she was saying really like a white sheriff was standing, wherever when she was having a baby. And I guess, what woman would want somebody to be handcuffed, number one, to a bed and then have your baby while you handcuffed? I don't know what kind of fighting you're going to do when you having a baby at that time. So why would you even be handcuffed? I mean, you just keep an eye on a person, I guess, if they really going to do something, but you got too much going on down there to be wanting to try to escape when you having pregnant. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there'll be a woman who does that. I don't know if there's anything on record showing that, but who knows? But then she was saying, well, I used to believe Trump was a racist too, and blah, 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 until I talked to him. And then he got X, Y, and Z done. And 30,000, it helped 30,000 other inmates and blah, 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 blah. After I played that one, this same black woman got all in an uproar. Trump didn't sign that for such and such, such and such. It was Biden. Then, before I got a chance to, I went and found the Biden thing. It was I can't remember what it was. Something the woman said, and said something about Biden didn't sign it. Oh, it also was mentioned, Angela mentioned the 94 crime bill. And that was what it was. And then this black woman got upset after I played that and said that Biden didn't sign that. Well, I found a video that it was a news interview, and the interviewer asked Biden, did he regret for doing that, for signing that? And Biden said, yes, he tried to bounce around his answer. So he admitted that he signed it. But I didn't get a chance to play that because they threw me off the stage. You see? And here it is. That's another woman. Unfortunately, it was a black woman that had the beef with me about that. And then try to say Biden didn't sign that and he ain't had nothing to do. And I played the I didn't play it. I found it. I was going to play it. And I told him I had one more video. Then one of the moderators, the moderators think they got they bosses and they under bosses and got so much power they can drop people down for the host of the show. A bunch of people who don't know how to handle authority because they can't even handle the authority of being a TikTok moderator or a whatever. Sometimes you could be YouTube, and YouTube has moderators. If you have some people don't know how to run nothing, they have whatever little power they get, they show you how they would handle more power just by what they do. And so this lady got upset about that, right? And like I said, I was telling before that I got dropped, I was telling the lady, I guess one of the moderators, well, hey, I got another video. Okay, Damani, we'll get to your video in a little bit. Then I think I got dropped out the blue. See, people don't. What I was getting to all of this I was getting ready to say earlier. When you pull out receipts and you pull out stuff in the form of a video, or you pull up an article where they can see it, or you give them a link, or you tell them the name of a book, people kind of dodge you after that. When you pull out the real evidence, people start disappearing. And so I say that because I've noticed I watched, I study videos and stuff. I look at things sometimes, and I like to like self-improvement with certain things. And you can just watch videos on certain things, whatever you're trying to improve on, and you can get to you can learn some things that can help you improve. So I was looking at a lot of Khalid Muhammad's debates. Yeah, he was part of the Nation of Islam for a while. And then if I would have said that, the first thing people say, "Oh, you a Muslim." Nowhere, have nothing to do with them, have nothing against them. Some of them are cool. Some of them seem a little funny, a little too pushy about certain things, but it's all good. But that don't mean I can't learn from anybody. So I was studying Khalid Muhammad's videos when he having debates with people. I've watched on these videos Khalid Muhammad, who even put a little scared of Farrakhan. All right. And that'll even tell you sometimes when there's a thing going around now about Black Americans not y'all seen this lady on the picture there. About Black Americans not going for the okie doke. They're realizing a lot of the Black immigrants wasn't really looking out for them the way Black Americans was looking out for everybody else around the world. And so, we know Farrakhan is Caribbean and Khalid Muhammad is a Black American. And so you can even see the situation that happened between them at one time. You can see the same little thing going on, right? The support, the non-support. But anyway, I've watched a lot of his videos, and I watched Khalid Muhammad would come in these debates with suitcases of books. He'll pull in on stage that he's gonna debate somebody. I seen one video. I was like, yo, he ain't playing around, which gave me the thought of, you know what? That's what I'm going to start doing myself. I'm not just going to say something, or even if I say something and I don't have it right then and there, I'm going to try to make sure that you can guarantee what I told you is correct. And I'm going to try to give you the resource where you can go find it if I don't pull it up and show you or play it myself. But that made me think right then and there, he pull out suitcases of books, started taking them out of the suitcases because they had this long table, and started lining up, setting up his table with all these books to prove his point in the debates. So when people start saying it ain't this, it ain't that, he could pull up a book because he had them all marked, depending on what the topic was. He had the pages marked, so he can pull right up to them pages and pull up and show you. And I said, that's how you do a debate, and that's how you deal with people. You try to deal with them with the facts instead of, just talking. Sometimes I guess you could talk and get rah-rah, but every now and then, or every a lot and then, you need to pull out some stuff on folks because it really shuts people up after that. That's how you shut people up and shut them down. Or that's how you make them real mad, and then you watch them, crash out and try to call you names and stuff because they so mad because you pull out some facts on them, which was the situation when I played those audios about Biden and Trump. Another one wasn't really a debate, but I noticed after I called out the resources, everybody just kind of got quiet, and then they started talking about their own thing. So that other panel was seeing like people just wanted to talk, even if it wasn't true what they were saying. They just wanted to be heard and sound like they were so important. And that was about I guess the lady but she's cool, Vonnie, she's real cool on TikTok. She was talking about Black history, and she stays quiet too a lot. She'll stay quiet and she'll take notes when people say. She'll say things, ask questions, and she knows that that's how I am because it was another debate, not a debate, another panel. I might talk about that in a minute. But this particular one, they was talking about Black history, and I gave them resource. It's about a specific topic about Black Americans already being here even before slavery. So I cited two sources, one book by Dr. Claude Anderson and another book by Chase McGee. and saying that you can find that information in those books. I said there's more out there, but we can get started with those 2 books. After I said that, everybody didn't have too much to say. It wasn't like somebody was going against me or anything like that. But I've learned, that was a learning moment after I said that. I said these people ain't about nothing. I really want to say these people ain't about SHIT. They just want to go up there and run their mouths and act like they somebody or they important or say stuff that be off the mark. Let's see what this lady's saying real quick.
Have all these felony charges, and you like, so all the problems that you were making me think was me, it wasn't me, it was you. The problem was you couldn't marry me because you knew you would have had to tell me the truth. And you sitting up here and you trying to run and hide from yourself. And that was the bigger problem. You up here, like, and my whole thing was, y'all, had he been honest with me and truthful with me and said, hey, all this happened, but this was my past, this is not who I am right now, I would not have judged him on that, right? But the fact of the matter is you still lying, so you are still that person. And I find all this out after we broke up. Mind y'all, I've been crying for like the past 5 months about this. I'm not crying about it anymore because I realized that he's not somebody I should have been with anyway. Because if you can't be truthful and you have to lie about all that, like, I'm just more angry that I've wasted the past 2.5 years of my life with somebody that wasn't who he said he was in no type of way. So yeah, that's why I say I don't see that happening for me. I give up. I'm throwing in the towel.
Thank you for talking to me. Stick with it. I've been married for almost 52 years, so I found a good one.
They are out there.
Yep.
They are out there. They're few and far between, but they're still there.
Okay.
Hey, ready, go?
And on that note, y'all, I love you. I'll see you guys later.
See you later, Brenda. Bye-bye.
Ready, go. I hate that you're so close, and I just found out because I really would have come to Galveston to see you. Like,
all right, so let me find some other lives real quick. See, I was looking at something earlier, and we'll go ahead and pull that live up if it's still on here, because now they kind of changed up. Let's see about this one. Here's one. Let me see if it'll show up on the screen. There you go. All right, let's see what they talk about.
Leaning against a wall, like, and he's facing like to the right or whatever. And he's talking about Black people in third person. So that video is one of the ones that let me know he knows there is a separation in
and I know like a lot of people give like their anecdotals. In my hometown, right? A lot of people don't realize that one of the biggest things that Barack Obama did was mess with the census and categorize non-Black people, you know, as Black and African American when it comes to like
talking
taxes,
about
when it
Obama
comes
now.
to a lot of things.
Yeah, he changed it for me, bro. Yeah.
Well, hold on. And also, I want to say this, right? I really want to say this. It needs to be said, right? Kamala Harris was asked about what she felt about Black people and reparations, and she said she wasn't doing anything that it only affected Black people. So that's out there, right? But
didn't I say that earlier? There it is, right? I said that earlier.
Puppets too. You didn't hold Obama to them standards about reparation. You didn't hold Biden there. He said, if you're not Black, if you vote for me, and you wouldn't have held Kamala to that. Yep. Fall back off my boy Donald Trump.
Hey, bro. Hey, you shoot. And she didn't just say I wouldn't do it. Like the whole neck and like her whole body was.
She was disgusted. Why would
she was disgusted by being athlete? Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like
it was like, hold on, I'm pandering these motherfuckers, but I ain't one of them or for them now. Chill the fuck out. Like,
bro, it's the wildest shit, and that's what really got me. It wasn't just that she said it because she said it.
It's how she said it. She meant it with her whole heart.
Bro, she meant that shit from the bottom of her soul to her feet, all the way through her fucking body, bro, because she pulled some energy up to move like that.
Didn't I tell you that? I said that earlier, and now this ain't No setup. I just randomly went to this live TikTok and they said the same exact thing I said regarding how Kamala was acting in that interview. She had an attitude from I don't know where. She almost like she was offended when that girl asked her, you know, what's she gonna do for black people? I ain't gonna do nothing just for black people. No, got an attitude. They expressing the same thing. That's who they talking about. The same thing I was talking about earlier. See what I'm saying? But people will say you just don't want to vote for her because she's a black woman. No, those are just one of the reasons that I mentioned earlier. They mentioned there is the reason why.
Republic, all these presidents that we've had, right? Which one would have pushed that narrative? None of them. So they planted his ass and then made us think he was black, and then he pushed the narrative. That's all.
His godfather was George Bush Sr. You know, man, the director of the CIA, and his godbrother was George Bush. Like, how did the regular masses not know that when he was running for president?
You left out one of the godbrothers.
Let me tell you something though. See, a lot of people don't understand that presidents are supposed to have 3 things on their agenda, right? 2 domestic and 1 international agenda kind of thing in a growth of government kind of way. The only thing Obama did was he gave the eligibility community rights, he gave immigrants rights, and he tried to repair the damage that Bush caused with Africa and other people of color. That's all he did. The man did shit for America.
Did you catch it when he said the eligibility people? You know what he meant, right?
I'm using
That was a good one.
You've been saying it for a while, so it's down pat. But I caught it.
Hey, 1990.
What's up, man?
1990. You left off one of the most important God brothers.
What's up?
Which one?
Bin Laden.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you know that this man had the key to the Michigan? Like he got the key. He went to school in America. He was funded by Americans. By the United States. For his education. Do you not understand? His father also was a CIA agent. Do you understand? Anytime you see Ben with something, you got to understand Arabic and Hebrew and stuff like that. The word Ben means the son of. So he's the son of Laden. Bin Laden. He's the son of Laden. His father was already a CIA agent for the corporation. So do you see how this works?
If you go to the University of California, Berkeley, which when we talk about like Kamala Harris, her mom, the MK Ultra, like they were involved inside of that process also.
Now I would say, you know, I went and said that people be saying stuff. Now they could be 100% right, but I don't know that. So I would go back and study what the word, like he mentioned, Ben might be in Arabic, might be the son of. I would just look that up. Oh, okay, he was legit. Trust but verify, right? I would do stuff like that. And then saying that, you know, his dad was part of the CIA, blah, blah, blah. I would research that. You know, he could very well cited his sources, and then that would have that cleared everything up. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. People be saying stuff. But some people can be legit. And, you know, sometimes just during the conversation, you ain't got time to cite your source. But like I said, I took a very nice lesson from Khalid Muhammad's videos, his debate videos. And, you know, going forward, I'm going to try to do things, but I've already started doing it a lot different when I go on these panels. I'm going to have something for folks, or I'll be able to pull it up in real time if I need to. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
He said the first thing he did when he got to the White House was call me and said, "Do you see I'm better than you? I'm the president of the most powerful country, and you stay in a hut." Nice. How you gonna call your brother and rub it in that he stay in a hut, bro?
Well, they had a tumultuous relationship. It was bullying.
I mean, even Michelle.
Hey, look, my light skinned little brother, he'll say some shit like that to me, man. You know.
But Michelle in her little podcast, she said she didn't want that shit. Like she didn't want it.
Probably
she didn't want to support him in that shit. Her brother talked her into supporting him.
Yeah.
Her brother.
Hey, speaking of abomination, I call him abomination because whoever's the president is the face of the nation. So it was abomination when Obama was in there. But anyway,
that's a good one. I'm gonna start using that one.
Abomination. I'm telling you. Y'all see how Big Mike don't want to play Monopoly games no more, right? Big Mike
The kids either, because what's the name is not even using the last name no more.
Right, Sasha, she done with that shit. She did. It's a wrap. I'm done.
Contract is over, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm telling y'all, that whole family was weird though. Guess what? That whole family was weird. Did y'all ever see them out and about or something together? The only time you saw them was together when they was getting on a plane or some shit, or when they was, when he first got elected. You never saw them.
It was always getting on or off a plane or a pose, like whether it's an interview or just a picture moment, but it was never actually spending time or being like a family together, you know?
Y'all got to remember something too, though.
You got a point.
Like, when he was before he was in office, we were
We
all.
can't hear you, Aaron.
We were. I said when we were.
The wind
You're the
blew.
win.
That wind blowing.
So somebody said that we owe Canada. I want y'all to stop the lies. We own Canada.
Can y'all hear me now? I'm outside, but can y'all hear me now?
We gave them that freedom.
Wait. Who said that? What do we owe Canada?
No, some some weirdo in the comments said we owe Canada, but it's not true. We own Canada. OWN.
Yes.
Look, I don't know how many of you guys like work in office buildings, but the United States government been at war with Canada. We get 90% of our wood from them.
Correct.
Like we went towards going paperless so we could buy less paper products from Canada. They've been trying to extort us out of natural resources, man, for protection, and they need to pay up. Like it is what it is.
That is very true.
All of them need to pay.
All right, y'all. So yeah, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Let me I'm gonna try to find one more thing. Let's see if I can find something else real quick here. See what folks is talking about. But like I said, man, a lot of delusion going on. Okay, that's the same people we looked at earlier. There's a lot of people selling stuff. Let me see what this lady is talking about here. What's going on this panel? Let's pull this up. All right, let's listen in, y'all.
Bank of America, and what's the other one?
So they may be closing branches, but that doesn't mean they're shutting the doors.
No,
Right. Yeah.
shutting the doors. What they're doing is they're going to make banking more online, more digital. Okay, which is going to harm a lot of people who are not familiar with online, who don't have, internet service, the elderly, the poor. All right, foreign people. Look, I'm looking for my.
Yeah, she got a point. She got a point for sure. If they're really going down to online banking, there's a lot of people who are not familiar with getting on a laptop or their phone and accessing their account. Yeah.
With cash. That's going to be harmful.
You know what it is? They want to do this cryptocurrency bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
That's all they're trying to do
Right.
is
And then you
make
got
us switch from dollars to cryptocurrency.
Right.
Now, I would say it's not just because they want to switch to cryptocurrency. There is a certain control that they want. They want to control that space because I guess when the cryptocurrency first came out or when it was out and not too many people was up on it, they might have heard about it. They were saying that, you can't control certain aspects or all aspects of it so people can actually make money without outside people, the government or whatever coming in. So what all that is just there's some type of control that the people up top, quote unquote, want to have. They want to control it so they can control how much people will actually make. So it's not just the crypto itself. It's the system that crypto is under or on that they want to grab and put a lock on and control that.
Sitting up here thinking that you gonna make it. These farmers are fucking around and finding out, oh, I thought he was gonna do this for me. No, you don't fit that medium. You don't fit that.
Well, she's a little bit off on that because if she's talking about the black farmers, they've been doing the black farmers in a long time ago. So it ain't about, they keep focusing on if it's about Trump and this and that. The black farmers was getting jerked around. And I think Obama had something to do with that, I think, when it came to the black farmers. the black farmers is getting and has been getting jerked around a lot. So this is way before then. It's not just something that's just a new phenomenon. So she's that's what I'm saying again about, which is cool. They might be on the right track. I guess, I don't know. Sometimes it might be a thing where you can't just jump on everybody's who's always off, but then you just be jumping on every single person every time you turn around. But that's what I was saying, that, people say stuff sometimes and
basically crash.
are they going to cite a source or anything?
Change.
But black farmers have been getting
cryptocurrency has
getting that gut shot, been getting the liver punch for a while.
DJ has no true value.
All right, y'all. So yeah, we just
being in finance. I do this every day.
I do this every day. I'm a professional.
It's not tangible. Like you can hold the dollar.
I'm the master.
It spins, DJ Kitty. I didn't know that. It spins.
It's
we got them type of people too. I've been doing this for years. I'm the master. I know what I'm talking about.
And that's the crypto queen just walked in the room, Miss Marshall. She'll tell you, Miss Marshall, I think she purchased a car with her crypto one time.
Miss Marshall, can you join the panel? Because I do have a question about it, because it's not, I put it to you like this. I'm in corporate America, and I've been in finance for over 30 years. There's not a legitimate way of introducing cryptocurrency into finance just yet for corporate. We haven't seen anything that's.
But if you've been in finance for 30 years, you would think you'd be looking for this type of stuff. And if this lady has an answer for it, then that already tells you your 30 years.
I think you can't buy it and accept the crypto too, though.
Say it again.
I think you have to find people to accept it.
Yeah, they accept it.
And see,
Right.
I'm not familiar
and it's not
with this crypto stuff. I haven't even seen anybody who accept crypto. Not saying that
nobody
they don't exist. I just don't know nothing
They
about it.
did, DJ Kitty, because Honey used to pay her utility bills with her crypto, and she said,
Where the hell she live?
She said all in Texas. She said all of a sudden she went to pay it and it stopped. And she said when it stopped, that's when she knew that go ahead and pull a little piece of money out. Because
Crypto doesn't spend like the dollar, so it's not a value to the dollar. Okay. Hey, Miss Marshall, how you doing?
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. Let me see. Booyah. So yeah, there you have it. I don't know what I don't know if StreamYard is gonna mess this stream up or not, or if the platforms I upload this to is gonna mess this up or not. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I just was kind of in that mood to say certain things, get my talk on a little bit. So I appreciate y'all. Before we get out of here, hold on to your love. All right. Be sure to get the book. The book is out now. All right. Get that book, baby. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it a PDF version, or you can get the paperback. And I am working on the deep dive. If y'all want to do the deep dive where I actually give my commentary and break some stuff down, all from the book. The video series is coming. All right. The Fauci Files deep dive is on the way. All right. Exclusive commentary from me from my own book. All right. Things you won't get from the book. See, if you get the Kindle paperback or the PDF, you won't get my commentary to go with it. You have to purchase the commentary, right? So if you're interested in that, that's coming soon. We're going to let you know when it's ready. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah. I'm going to get my Khalid Muhammad on when I be getting on these panels. and just talking to people in general. And you have to be a debate or a panel and people running their mouths and saying stuff that's not true or whatever. I'm just kind of try to start being more like that. I'm gonna cite the sources, give you the links, tell you the names of the books, or pull them up so you can see it. Because people say a lot of stuff, man, and you gotta know the facts. That's facts. That's big facts. You gotta know the facts. That's big facts. You know what I'm saying? Stop confusing folks. I don't like confusion, man. I don't. I don't like when people get slicked and confused. Mm-mm. So yeah, we're gonna start pulling receipts on fools out here to where whether I'm putting in a video or whatever, all you can do is get mad and complain and try to flip, as opposed to citing your source that we can verify and see if what you're saying is correct. All right. So with that being said, man, I am gone. Be sure to cop the book. All right. Again, get the book. Get the book. If you don't want to get the book and you want to hear me read the book and then give my commentary, the deep dive is coming soon. Okay. So you want to hear me read the book and then give my commentary on each chapter. Read a chapter, give a commentary. Read a chapter, give commentary. I think you will enjoy the commentary. You heard me? So with that being said, man, once again, I'm out. One love. Peace to y'all. If you see me in the streets, holla G-Unit. Nah. Say, what's up, real? What's up, Damani? What's good? All right. I'm out, y'all. One love. Peace.